Discover the incredible and heartwarming secrets of how Native Americans thrived in -40 winters. The biting cold wrapped around the small homestead like a merciless blanket, the world outside shrouded in icy silence. Inside, Emily's heart thudded, a drumbeat that echoed the battle raging within. At 25, she felt the weight of two worlds pressing down on her shoulders. On one hand, the glint of a new job opportunity in the city danced before her like a star, beckoning her to leap into the unknown. On the other, the stories of resilience and community from her grandfather, a cherished elder, wove through her thoughts like a strong, warm thread. Every winter tale he told held a lesson, a reminder that they had not only endured but thrived, even in temperatures that plunged to a grueling -40 Fahrenheit. The wind howled outside, and as snow drifted against the walls, Emily recalled her grandfather's voice, steady and profound, as he spoke of their ancestors who thrived on these lands. They carved homes out of the wilderness, united against the harshest of winters through strength, love, and Ina. A fire flickered low in the hearth, painting her walls with warmth, but Emily felt cold, trapped between ambition and the painful pull of her roots. A knock on the door startled her from her reverie. It was Sarah, her childhood friend, with tear-streaked cheeks and trembling hands. "Emily, they're evicting Grandma Arlene. They say she can't pay her bills since her garden didn't flourish last summer." The mere thought of losing a beloved community member set Emily's heart ablaze with anger. Grandma Arlene had shared her own stories of overcoming struggles, standing tall and proud when the world tried to push her down. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With a heavy heart, Emily saw the struggle of her people reflected in her own. This was not just about one eviction, it was about the very survival of her community, the fabric that stitched them together unraveling thread by thread. The weight of expectation collided with her longing for something more, and yet, in her grandfather's teachings, she found a glimmer of hope. His words resonated, "In unity, we find strength." Standing amidst the chaos of choice and consequence, Emily felt time ticking away. The job offer loomed like a ghostly figure in the shadows. It promised everything. Still, her passion boiled beneath the surface. The thought of abandoning her community sickened her. Her friends, her family, all those who had shared laughter, tears, and love. As the wind screamed outside, she looked from the window at the silhouette of her beloved town, the homes illuminated against the dark sky. The time for her decision approached, and she neared the edge, where the past and future collided in a whirlwind of emotions. The battle for Grandma Arlene was only beginning, and she knew that to choose between personal ambition and the well-being of her people was not just a struggle, it was a heart-wrenching test of who she was. Would she answer the call of the city, or would she step forward to fight for the legacy and love of her roots? The answer loomed before her, tantalizing and terrifying all at once. Emily stood on the precipice, with the vast unknown beneath and the weight of tradition above, her heart pounding with the question that would echo in her soul: what would it truly mean to find her place in a changing world? Emily took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment settle in her chest like a heavy stone. She realized it was time to act. She couldn't let Grandma Arlene slip through their fingers, not when the community had already weathered so many storms together. Gathering her resolve, she turned to Sarah, whose eyes were wide with fear. "We can't let them do this. We have to fight for her, together." Sarah nodded, the flicker of determination igniting in her eyes. Together, they decided to rally the community. Emily knew that if enough voices joined the fight, they couldn't be ignored. They gathered friends and family, heads held high, talking about Grandma Arlene's garden, the way she fed everyone during the last harsh winter, and how her door was always open for anyone in need. Word spread quickly, and soon a small group formed outside the local coffee shop, a space where laughter and stories filled the air. Emily stood on a bench, her heart pounding with anxiety but filled with hope. "We all know what Grandma Arlene means to us," she cried out. "Her spirit is our spirit. We've survived through so much, and we can't lose her now." A wave of cheers erupted from the crowd, and Emily felt that familiar warmth of unity wrap around her. She began to see the potential that lay within each of them, a power born from shared love and experience, just like the elders had always taught. They were more than neighbors, they were family. As plans were drawn, Emily realized that every moment she spent fighting for her community sharpened her sense of purpose. The pull of the city job still lingered in the back of her mind, whispering a promise of success and freedom, but the vision of Grandma Arlene's smiling face filled her heart with a steadfast certainty. The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. They organized meetings and gathered signatures, raising awareness about the impending eviction. Emails were sent out, flyers printed, and the local newspaper picked up their story. Emily's resolve only grew stronger as she watched the community come alive. This was not just about saving Grandma Arlene's home, it was about reclaiming their identity, about standing up for what was right. But with every moment spent fighting, the glowing job offer weighed more heavily on her heart. She couldn't help but wonder, what if she lost everything by staying? One evening, standing outside in the crisp winter air, she looked up at the countless stars scattered across the sky. Memories of her grandfather flashed through her mind. His voice echoed softly, "Know where you come from, and you will always know where you are going." As Emily turned to head back inside, she spotted a figure in the distance. It was Grandma Arlene, bundled up in layers, shuffling through the snow towards the gathering place. The sight brought tears to Emily's eyes. She hurried out to meet her, wrapping her arms around the elder, the warmth of home flooding her senses. "I heard what you're doing," Grandma Arlene said, her voice thick with gratitude. "You're something special, dear. Just like the stories." Emily smiled, a mix of warmth and responsibility swelling within her. The fight was not just about a home, it was about preserving their spirit. As the warmth of the hearth called her back inside, the urgency hung in the air. Each day brought new challenges and possibilities. Would unity be enough to shield Grandma Arlene from the looming threat? With a determined spirit, Emily gathered her strength. The answer was within her reach, but the clock was ticking. What legacy would she choose to stand by when the ultimate decision arrived? Emily woke up the next morning to a weight on her heart. The sun streamed through her window, illuminating the small room where memories of her childhood danced in light. Everywhere she looked, she saw reminders of home: the paintings, the family photographs, the handmade quilts covering her bed. It filled her with a longing she couldn't shake. As she dressed in her warmest clothes, memories of her grandfather's stories flooded back, tales of struggle and resilience, of people standing together against the odds. She gripped the fabric of her sweater, feeling the stitches he had crafted with love. It was a tangible reminder of where she came from and why she was ready to fight. Heading to the community center, her thoughts raced. The streets were quiet, covered in a soft blanket of snow. Each step crunched underfoot as if the ground was echoing her resolve. The sounds of chatter and laughter grew closer as she approached. She entered the center, greeted by the sight of familiar faces. The energy was palpable, a buzzing excitement that seemed to pulse through the air. "We're going to make our voices heard," Sarah announced, standing confidently at the head of the long table. "This isn't just about Grandma Arlene. It's about every single one of us who has been touched by her kindness." Emily caught eyes with Mr. Jenkins, the local farmer who always brought fresh vegetables to Grandma's potlucks. He nodded in agreement, his weathered hands clasping each other tightly on the table. "I can't count the times she kept my family fed," he said, his voice breaking slightly. "We owe her everything." More voices chimed in, filling the room with stories of gratitude and memories that connected them all. Emily felt her heart swell, the unity she had envisioned was blossoming before her eyes. Let us organize a rally. Someone suggested. The idea ignited the room like a spark catching dry kindling. They debated logistics and planned how to spread the word. Emily's mind raced, seizing on the possibility to amplify their message. As ideas flowed, Emily's gaze drifted to the window. Outside, children were playing in the snow, laughter echoing in the stillness. For a moment, she felt a pang of envy that carefree joy seemed far from the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Would they understand this fight? Would they cherish the stories of Grandma Arlene as fiercely as adults did? Deep down, Emily knew the outcome of this struggle stretched beyond history or eviction notices. It was about building a future, a legacy for the children who would grow up learning the importance of community. The thought gave her strength. When the meeting ended, she stepped outside into the brisk air, determination washing over her. Yet, the specter of her career loomed large in her mind. The job offer had been a glittering promise of rather a different life, yet it began to dim against the warmth of her community's support. How could she leave now, knowing everything they stood to lose? As she walked home, shadows of doubt danced at the edges of her confidence. A light snow began to fall, gentle flakes swirling around her, giving her breath a ghostly quality. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Sarah. We need to be strategic about this. Can we trust the local newspaper to write a human interest story? If they knew about Grandma's garden and the impact on the community. Emily's heart raced. What if this attention could protect Grandma Arlene? But was it enough? Despite the frigid air, she felt a rush of warmth. The bond within their community was something stronger than she'd ever known. But as they marched forward, would the strength of their voices be enough to keep the warmth of Grandma Arlene's spirit alive? What if the fight for their beloved elder also turned into a fight for their own identities? What secrets would be revealed as they opened their hearts to the world? Emily walked home, her heart racing with a mix of fear and hope. The possibility of sharing Grandma Arlene's story filled her with determination, yet the thought of exposing vulnerable hearts in the community made her stomach churn. That night, she sat at her kitchen table, notes scattered around her, the dim light from a flickering candle casting shadows on the walls. The untold stories of her community felt like treasures waiting to be uncovered, but how could they be shared without revealing too much? With her laptop open, she stared at the blank document. What would people need to know? How could she express their shared love and fear? Emily started typing, weaving together the anecdotes she had gathered throughout her life. Grandma's garden was more than just a patch of soil, it was a symbol of resilience and hope in the winters that felt never-ending. As the words spilled onto the page, she felt a connection to the community like never before. Each story brought another layer of emotion to the surface. Emily paused, remembering a sunny afternoon spent with Grandma, planting flowers and sharing secrets about how things could grow even in the harshest conditions. It mirrored their current predicament, fighting to nurture life in an environment filled with challenges. The following day, Emily arranged to meet Sarah and a few others at the community center. When she arrived, anticipation melded with a nervous energy. They gathered around the table, their reactions ranging from excitement to apprehension. Emily shared her writing. The room was silent as they listened, the weight of each word resonating deeply. "Wow, Emily, you captured it perfectly," Sarah whispered, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "This is more than just a story. It feels like a tribute. But are we ready to share this with everyone?" Mr. Jenkins nodded, his face serious. "We need to be brave. This isn't just about Grandma. It's about us. You've shown what we're fighting for." They all nodded, a shared determination forming like an unbreakable thread among them. For the first time, hope replaced some of the doubt that had loomed over their discussions. Emily suggested they hold a writing workshop to encourage others. If they could get more voices joined together, it could create a wave of empathy that the entire town might hear, all poured out in words on paper. As the plan took shape, a tangible sense of unity enveloped the room. They discussed inviting the local paper to cover the workshop, fueling a potential fire of awareness. The excitement was infectious, and every idea felt like a leap toward making their community's strength visible to the world. But just as they began to feel invincible, Emily's phone buzzed again. It was a text from her mom. "Emily, we really need to talk about that job offer. It's important. Can you come over?" That simple message brought her crashing back down. The job she had once dreamed of felt like a heavy chain now. Did she really want to leave everything she was building? Her community needed her. But how could she turn her back on the future she had also wished for? She glanced around the room, at her friends who had become like family. What was she truly willing to sacrifice? As doubt crept in, she remembered her grandfather's stories of tenacity. They were more than just tales of struggle, they were about choice. Would she choose the life that shaped her, or the life that awaited her? Emily took a deep breath, her pulse quickening as she thought of the rally, the workshop, and everything that lay ahead. Could she confront her fears, both for Grandma Arlene and herself? The future felt uncertain, yet she knew one thing for sure, she couldn't let go of this fight. What awaited her around the corner might just change everything. Would she find the courage to embrace it? As Emily stood at the community center table, her mind raced like a shaken soda can, bubbling with thoughts that threatened to spill over. The weight of her mother's message pressed heavily on her chest. She knew she had to face the choice looming before her, but at that moment, her focus returned to the gathered faces around her, full of enthusiasm and hope. "Okay, let us get this workshop going," Sarah declared, breaking the pensive silence. The room erupted into a flurry of planning. They discussed topics, potential dates, and how to spread the word. Each suggestion transformed their fear into fuel, excitement sparking in the air like static electricity. Emily felt a sense of purpose settle within her. Could this workshop open doors for deeper connections in their community? As she scribbled notes, visions of shared laughter, budding friendships, and overflowing creativity floated through her mind. It was about more than writing, it was about healing and coming together. Later that day, Emily returned home to face her mom. The kitchen felt different, shadows creeping in with the dusk. Her mother was perched at the island, a coffee mug cradled in her hands, her face unreadable. "Emily, I'm glad you're here," her mom said, her voice steady but thick with concern. "We need to talk." As the words spilled from her mother's lips about the job opportunity waiting in the city, the potential for a fresh start, the future lined with endless possibilities, Emily's heart sank. It felt like she was being pulled in two directions. On one hand, her duty to her community, to keep Grandma's legacy alive, on the other, the lure of ambition and a more secure life. What if it means leaving everything behind? She asked instinctively, fear creeping in again. What if I regret not trying? Her mother met her gaze, eyes softening at her daughter's internal battle. "That's why we're having this conversation. I want you to think about what makes you happy. This job is a great opportunity, but you must weigh it against what you truly want." Emily took a deep breath, recalling the joy of the workshop and the collective energy of those around her. Was happiness about being rooted in something real, in the community she had fought so hard to engage? It felt like a tether, drawing her back to her true calling. "I just don't know if I'm ready to give this all up," Emily admitted, her voice small. "They need me. I need them." A wave of understanding washed over her mother's face. "And I'll support you no matter what choice you make. Just remember, opportunities will always come. What matters is your happiness, and no one can make that decision but you." As Emily stared out the window, a gentle breeze rustling the leaves, she remembered Grandma's garden. Nurturing life through the seasons required patience, growth, and resilience. The community was her garden. Each person, each story, was a unique bloom fighting against the harshness of the world. She couldn't walk away from that. She wouldn't. The decision pulled at her heart, but amidst the uncertainty, something shifted within her. The weight of doubt was still present, but the pull of obligation toward her community felt stronger. The next day, as she stepped into the community center again, Emily could feel the stirrings of change. The walls thrummed with potential. They started framing flyers together, the bold headlines promising a night of shared stories. In the frenzy, a thought struck her like a lightning bolt: what if they could not only share their stories but encourage others to tell theirs as well? What if by opening up these channels, they could spark movements outside their small town? A smile began forming on her lips. Just then, a voice called out, "Emily, are you in?" It was Mr. Jenkins. He looked at her expectantly, believing in her vision. And suddenly, it clicked. Yes, she smiled, the warmth of certainty blooming. But just as she felt the momentum of their course build, a knock on the door interrupted the rising tide of hope. The moment felt pivotal. As the door swung open, revealing an unexpected visitor, Emily's heart raced once more. Who stood before her could change everything yet again. Would this be the catalyst she never saw coming? Emily's breath caught in her throat as she took in the figure at the door. It was Adam, a face from her past. He had left town years ago, chasing dreams of his own, and now he stood there, a mix of surprise and hope in his eyes. His presence sent a jolt through her. Memories flooded back the summer days they spent under the oak tree, talking about their futures, daring one another to reach for more. Emily. Long time no see. Adam's voice was warm, but there was a hint of uncertainty, as if he wasn't sure how she would react. Adam. What are you doing here? She managed to say, forcing a smile through her blend of shock and elation. I came back for the weekend, he shrugged, his hands buried in his pockets. I heard about the workshop and thought I'd check it out. Figured maybe I could lend a hand. Lend a hand. The words danced in Emily's mind, but she hesitated. She wasn't sure if she was ready for the changes Adam represented. Sure, he was a familiar face, but he was also a connection to a life that felt so distant now. Yeah, it's going to be really great, Emily stammered, her excitement wavering. We're hoping to create a safe space for everyone who wants to share their stories. Sounds like just what this town needs. Adam grinned, and seeing that infectious smile revived a flicker of joy within her. I'd love to help bring some of those stories to life. People have a lot to say if you just give them a chance. The warmth of his words touched her heart. Right. That's what I've been thinking too. It's more than just writing, it's about connection. They exchanged a knowing look, and in that moment, Emily felt a sense of camaraderie she hadn't realized she needed. Mind if I join the meeting? Adam asked, seeming eager. Of course not. Just remember we're all about supporting each other, she replied, feeling the excitement creep back. As they moved over to the workshop space, the energy inside buzzed like a live wire. People gathered around tables, chatting about ideas, sharing their hopes for the event. Emily could see they were all invested, and she felt that knot of doubt loosen in her chest. But beneath the excitement, uncertainty lurked. Adam's presence stirred emotions she had thought were long buried. Did she really want to invite him into this fragile embrace she was building around her community? They began brainstorming, throwing out ideas for themes and activities. It was a flurry of creativity, a dance of energy and passion, a kaleidoscope of voices that came together. Emily laughed and jotted down notes, her spirit buoyed. With every suggestion, every enthusiastic nod, she felt more anchored to her purpose. And yet, as the evening wore on, her heart whispered a reminder. She was still standing at a crossroads. How much of herself was she willing to invest in these connections? What if Adam rekindled feelings that distracted her from her mission, from the community she felt so passionately about? Just as the workshop wound down and people began to disperse, Adam turned to her, concern etched on his face. Hey, I know this is big for you. If I'm throwing off your groove, just say so. I don't want to complicate things. Emily smiled sadly, appreciating his awareness. No, it's not that. It's just everything feels so fragile right now. I don't want anything or anyone to shake that. Sometimes you have to embrace the chaos, Adam suggested, his tone playful yet sincere. You never know what beautiful thing might come from it. Before she could respond, a group from the workshop came rushing in, excitement bubbling over as they shared ideas for promoting their event. Emily glanced back to Adam, who was now caught up in the whirlwind of discussion, a charming smile on his face. And there it was again, a clash of desire and duty. As she turned back to the crowd, Emily felt a spark of fear alongside her excitement. If Adam continued to be a part of this, would her vision expand or shatter? With emotions swirling like autumn leaves around them, she took a deep breath, knowing that either choice toward connection would change her one way or another. The night ended, but not without leaving a lingering question in her heart. How far was she willing to stretch herself to envelope those she cared for, knowing it could lead to something far greater, or something that might break her? As she closed the door behind the last participant, she stole another glance at Adam. His laughter rang through the hall. Was he the ally she needed, or just another complication? The next morning dawned crisp and bright, sunlight streaming through Emily's kitchen window. She stood by the coffee maker, the aroma wrapping around her like a comforting blanket. Yet, even as she stirred cream into her cup, her mind was a whirlpool of thoughts. Adam had thrown her off balance, and she hadn't quite sorted through her feelings yet. Would inviting him into her space open doors, or just lead to a storm? Memories of their laughter under the old oak tree crushed against the present urgency of her workshop, a mix of nostalgia and anxiety that made her pulse race. She took a sip of coffee and sighed deeply. Every twist of her heart reminded her why she had poured herself into this project, to create something meaningful, a sanctuary where others could feel less alone. Would Adam disrupt her equilibrium? Or would he breathe new life into her dreams? The meeting was just a few hours away, and the buzz of excitement lingered in the air, mingling with her apprehension. She needed to focus, but that small voice whispered for her to reach out to Adam, to invite him back into her world completely. As she prepared, Emily's phone pinged. An unexpected message from Adam brightened her screen. Can't wait for the workshop today. Looking forward to sharing some ideas. A wave of warmth washed over her, filling the spaces her doubt had occupied. She smiled, her fingers hovering on the screen. Should she dive into the complexities of their past? Or keep the conversation light and professional? In the end, she opted for light. Me too. It's going to be fun. Let's make it unforgettable. She hit send, her heart racing just a touch. At the workshop, the energy crackled from the moment she walked in. Excited chatter filled the air, mirrored by the spirited expression on Adam's face as he greeted her at the door. Ready to ignite some creativity? His easy nature reassured her. Emily nodded with purpose, hoping to harness the potential they both saw in the project. Definitely. I think we might be onto something special. The group gathered for their meeting, enthusiasm palpable. They settled, and Emily took a moment to scan the room, a melting pot of dreams and stories waiting to be unearthed. Adam leaned in slightly, his presence undeniable and comforting. They shared fleeting glances that only heightened the tension in the air. Let's start brainstorming again, Emily suggested, encouraging the group to explore themes that resonated with them. Voices rose enthusiastically as people bounced ideas off one another. Adam raised his hand, an eager grin on his face. How about themes of resilience? Every story, every voice has faced struggles, but they've also found ways to rise above. His suggestion ignited excitement. Ideas flowed seamlessly, with laughter punctuating serious moments. Emily's heart danced. Here, right here in this room, was connection blossoming. Could it be the magic she had yearned for? Yet, as Adam continued to engage the group, Emily felt layers of her past drift to the forefront. The very reasons she had distanced herself resurfaced, threatening to complicate her mission. She wrestled with a flurry of emotions. Just as she found her footing, one of the participants, Nina, broke through her thoughts. Emily, can we talk about how we can come together and support each other? It feels so important. Nina's words resonated deeply, sending a ripple of realization through Emily. Connection, truly connection, was what she sought from the very start. And Adam, with his vibrant energy, had the potential to be a catalyst for that connection or a source of chaos. As the discussion unfolded, Emily caught Adam's eye. A storm of emotions lingered, reflecting both a challenge and a promise. Their shared journey intertwined with the collective effort swirling around them. What if embracing Adam meant embracing something more for herself? Just as she began considering this, the room started buzzing with another round of ideas. Within the tapestry, her heart raced with something bittersweet hope mixed with fear of the unknown. As she surrendered to the possibility, a cooler breeze whispered through an open window, guiding her thoughts forward. Could this workshop not only transform the community but also reshape her own heart? The thought settled in, heavy yet hopeful. With the group rallying behind a shared purpose, a new question lingered in the stillness of her mind, one she couldn't shake. Would this moment spark a new beginning for her and Adam, or would it unravel everything she had been building? The room buzzed with energy, each participant weaving their thoughts into a collective tapestry of ideas. Emily felt the weight of their hopes pressing against her chest. With every laugh and shared story, she saw a glimpse of what she had always dreamed this workshop could be. Yet, in the midst of creativity, her gaze would often drift back to Adam. His laughter rang through the space, deep and infectious. She found herself drawn to him more than she intended, each glance tangled in curiosity and something deeper. Was it attraction? Or merely a flicker of nostalgia? She couldn't tell, but it grounded her. Let us break into smaller groups. She proposed, hoping the shift would help funnel the scattered energy. As people began to form clusters, Emily felt a rush of adrenaline. The air was thick with potential dreams somehow inching closer to reality. "Emily, can you join our group?" called out Nina, waving her over. With a quick nod to Adam, she slipped into the circle of eager faces. As they exchanged thoughts, Emily realized how easy it was to breathe amid the laughter and ideas. Nina had sparked something in the room, a genuine desire to connect. "What if we create a mural?" a shy voice suggested. "Something that tells our stories, each of us represented." "Yes!" Emily exclaimed, her heart swelling. "That could visualize our theme of resilience." The group erupted with enthusiasm, envisioning colors and images that could flow together. In that moment, surrounded by the energy of creation, Emily found a sense of peace. The walls of her sanctuary were beginning to take on shape, built not only from bricks and paint but from the stories of her community. As they collaborated, Emily's gaze drifted toward Adam, who was now engaged in another group just a few feet away. She admired the way he animatedly listened, nodding and responding. There was something magnetic about the way he made people feel heard. The soft smile tugged at the corners of his lips ignited warmth within her. How had he managed to bring this group together so effortlessly? When their eyes met, there was a flicker, a shared understanding that went beyond words. And for a heartbeat, the world faded. All that existed was the electric current between them. "Emily," Nina's voice cut through her daze. "What do you think?" "Oh. Right. Sorry." She shook her head as if to physically dispel the fog surrounding her thoughts. "The mural idea is fantastic. It represents us, and it can evolve over time." Nina smiled, her enthusiasm contagious, but Emily could still feel that lingering energy in the air between her and Adam especially. It was intoxicating and terrifying all at once. Later, as they broke for lunch, Emily found herself standing near Adam. The smell of sandwiches and the sound of laughter filled the room, but all she could focus on was him. Should she invite him to join her for a moment? Instead, he stepped forward, breaking the tension. "Hey," he said, leaning against the wall. "You really pulled this together. It's beautiful to see everyone engaged like this." Her heart swelled, but a nervous flutter followed close behind. "Thanks. It's everyone's energy," it really lifts me up. His gaze softened, and in that moment, something unspoken passed between them. Would he understand the part of her that still felt fragile? Could he see that she was still piecing herself back together, just as they were piecing this project? "Emily," he said, his voice lowering, almost vulnerable. "I know we have history. But I want to be here to support this." His words wrapped around her like a warm embrace. Was this the door she had been hesitant to open? Or was it a momentary flicker of hope that would soon fade? In that heartbeat, she faced a choice: retreat back into the safety of her carefully constructed wall or step forward, embracing the potential of their connection. Behind him, the laughter of their peers echoed in the shared space. With an inhale, Emily opened her mouth to speak, searching for words that could bridge the distance between them and the past. But just then, the energy shifted. Again. A loud crash interrupted their moment, and Emily's heart sank. What had happened? Across the room, a table had toppled over, spilling papers and supplies everywhere. As chaos erupted, Emily's thoughts spiraled. Would this workshop survive the storm? What about her emerging connection with Adam? Her heart raced, not just from surprise but from an impending realization. This felt like a metaphor for her own life, a blend of chaos and hope. There was no going back. There was only forward into the unknown. The laughter quieted as everyone rushed to help. In the thick of the commotion, Emily shot one last look at Adam. Could they weather this storm together? And as the dust settled, a new question loomed in her heart: was she ready to embrace whatever came next? Emily watched as people hurried to gather supplies, their faces a mix of concern and determination. The chaos brought her down to earth, forcing her to push aside the swirling emotions shared with Adam. She stepped into action, grabbing a few discarded papers and hurriedly organizing them into stacks, her heart pulsing with the challenge. "Let us not lose momentum," she called out, trying to inject energy into the flurry of movement. A few heads turned, and she saw Nina rallying their groupmates around the mural concept, a light of inspiration sparking anew. "Right, just because a table fell doesn't mean our ideas should fall apart," Nina shouted, her infectious spirit rising above the noise. That had a way of cutting through the confusion, setting the tone for everyone to refocus. As they cleared the area, Emily's attention drifted back to Adam. He was calmly helping another pair of attendees untangle a mess of supplies, his steady presence acting as an anchor amid the storm. There was something powerful about the way he navigated the swirling chaos, drawing people closer rather than pushing them away. The laughter slowly returned, but it was different now, more purposeful, as if they were all united in overcoming the mishap. Emily felt a pull to him, a braided thread of shared experiences and unspoken words. Returning to the mural plan, she caught Adam's gaze once more, the urgency from earlier replaced with something softer. It was comforting and yet tinged with uncertainty. As she stepped closer, a knot in her stomach twisted. "Do you want to help us brainstorm?" she said, heart racing. "Would love to," he replied, a smile breaking through his earlier seriousness. As they settled into their corner of the room with Nina and a few others, the ideas flowed, weaving a narrative richer than they had planned before. Emily felt exhilarated, buoyed by the vibrant exchange of thoughts and images. It was as though the mural had become more than just paint on a wall, it was transforming into a manifestation of their collective resilience. "To be honest," Adam admitted, his voice low as he leaned closer, "I was worried this workshop wouldn't come together. But now I see something incredible shaping up." A flush of warmth rushed through Emily. "Yeah, it feels like we're building something meaningful." For a moment, they shared the silence, both standing on the edge of something intangible and beautiful. Could they really be creating a community, a space where both their pasts and hopes for the future could coexist? Suddenly, Nina snapped her fingers, pulling their attention back to the task at hand. "Okay, the mural theme is resilience. How about we incorporate symbols from each of our personal stories? What do you all think about that?" Ideas ricocheted energetically among the group, each contributing flashes of inspiration. Emily smiled, feeling the laughter and brainstorming wrap around her like a safety net. She glanced at Adam again. Their eyes connected, and an understanding jostled deep within her. But just as the momentum peaked, she was struck by a sudden thought. What if their connection and this workshop became intertwined? Could she risk embracing both in a world that felt so fragile? As they sketched out designs, she wrestled with the realization that the mural wasn't just about visual representation, it was about opening up paths ahead. It symbolized growth, not just for herself but also for the ties that bound them together. The conversation continued to whirl around her, but a shadow danced in her mind. What if all of this crumbled again, just like the table? Hey, Emily. Adam's voice pulled her back. You all right? You seem a bit distant. With a sudden urge, Emily brushed aside her fears, wanting to be vulnerable with him. She hesitated, emotions swirling, wondering if she was truly ready to dig deeper. Just then, the workshop facilitator raised their voice, announcing they would present the initial designs later that afternoon. The group buzzed with excitement, and Emily felt a twinge of pressure building in her chest. Do you think we can talk a bit after this? Adam asked, hope-filled in his gaze. Her heart fluttered as she nodded, feeling the weight of their evening conversation tangling with the warmth of this moment, but questions loomed still. Were they strong enough to face whatever came next? Something stirred within her, an invitation to dare and discover deeper connections. As the ideas and plans unfolded, she knew one thing for certain: the path forward was not without its challenges. And as the room lightened with laughter once again, she quietly wondered, was she ready to risk everything for the chance to truly connect? The workshop reached a crescendo, the air shimmering with creativity and vulnerability. Emily stood before a canvas shimmered with colors and bold strokes, tracing the story every community member had contributed. Each mark was a testament to resilience, echoing triumphs over struggles, and within that vibrant mural lay a collective heart, pulsing strongly for everyone to cherish. As they began to wrap things up, Emily felt a surge of emotions washing over her. This was about more than just art, it was about their lives, their histories intertwining with one another. And now, standing amongst friends and neighbors, she knew she was right where she needed to be. The room buzzed with laughter, energy radiating all around. Emily caught Adam's eye, he was laughing with Nina, his warmth spreading like sunlight. Her chest tightened at the thought of their earlier connection. This was what she wanted: community, kinship, shared stories. Then came the moment she had been working towards. They were ready to present the mural to the town. Emily felt a rush of pride as she turned to the assembled group. Today isn't just about art. It's about us reclaiming our story, standing together to support one another. Let us tell everyone that our community matters. The crowd erupted into cheers, their voices rising like a chorus of hope. In that moment, Emily understood this was her choice. She wouldn't take the city job. This was her path. She craved this profound connectedness, the strength they drew from one another. Stakes might be high, and there were uncertainties ahead, but that was the richness of this life. As evening fell, the first snow of the season began to twirl outside. The community gathered together, faces lit in anticipation. Emily stepped forward alongside Adam, the thrill of collaboration igniting her spirit. We are here as a family, woven together in strength, Adam said, his voice steady yet full of warmth. Every piece of this mural tells a story of who we are. Let us showcase that power. The crowd nodded, the weight of their shared history resting in the air. Emily felt the connection crackling. Through all the doubt and the chaos, she had found a passion deep within her, a willingness to anchor herself in shared purpose. With a deep breath, she stepped to the front. This mural represents resilience, unity, and the spirit of Grandma Arlene, who embodies everything we are fighting for. We must continue to come together. A loud cheer erupted, shaking the walls of the gathering space. They joined together, hand in hand, mingling joy and anticipation that reverberated off one another. Emily looked around, tears brimming in her eyes as she saw the smiles and raised fists of those who shared their common struggles and victories. And in that moment, Adam stepped closer, eyes glistening. "Emily, you're doing something incredible. Whatever happens from here, I'm in this with you." With hearts intertwined, they both knew they had made an unspoken promise, forging ahead together, come what may. As the night wore on, stories were shared. Emily watched Grandma Arlene's face glow with pride and joy, surrounded by people she loved, each voice blending into a magnificent tapestry of hope. Surrounded by those warm memories and futures yet to be woven, she felt weight lifted. Later that evening, as Emily stood before the mural, she was filled with clarity. "Ready to move forward?" Adam asked softly, standing beside her. "To grow and create," she smiled, a rush of possibility swelling within. They shared a moment, the world outside quieting with the new layers of snow falling. Emily couldn't help but wonder how the trees would bloom come spring. This was just the beginning. As determination settled in her chest, she held Adam's gaze far longer than either had dared before. Their connection ignited warmth, and she realized embracing their history could pave the way for what lay ahead. In this cycle of winter giving way to spring, Emily knew this was her moment. They would build something beautiful, not just for themselves, but for everyone who fought the good fight. The mural was a beacon for their shared cause, but the canvas of life was yet to be filled with stories yet untold. All it took was the courage to continue to love, to connect, to stand firm amidst the changing seasons. And reflecting on her journey, Emily felt a familiar flicker of warmth enfolding her heart. She had chosen her path. Now, the real story began. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and comment your reactions and feelings about this ending.